And this session focuses on this subject, which will be moderated by Mr. Rajesh Sinha, angel investor, consultant and export committee member, Agriculture and Food Processing Committee, Bombay Chamber. Our speakers are Smita Murty ma'am, India representative for FSSC, Anupama Patil ma'am, Assistant Commissioner of Food FDA, Maharashtra, Dr. Chang, COO, Envirocare Labs. So let's welcome them warmly, give them a round of applause. Please come up on the stage. Smita Murty ma'am, Anupama Patil ma'am, Dr. Chang, and our moderator, Mr. Rajesh Sinha, for this next session, Understanding Quality Control under Fresh Produce, and we have 30 minutes for this session, and after that, vote of thanks. And we are going to end this year's AgriCorp 2024. Over to you, sir.
Good afternoon, namaskar. तो लंच और आप लोगों के बीच में हम लोग हैं यहाँ, काफ़ी मुश्किल सा सेशन होता है ये. It's extremely difficult session, but no worries. You would be pleased to see a completely women panel. I am kind of more a moderator, so I am not that way there. So this is a message I am saying, not India. You see a globally diversified panel here. And these are the women who have excelled in their own field, and they are an inspiration to most of us. और मैं यहाँ कहना चाहूँगा जो हमारे फार्मर प्रोड्यूसर ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के साथी लोग बैठे हैं यहाँ, इनसे प्रेरणा लें. जहाँ तक मुझे मालूम है, जितनी भी कृषि के काम होते हैं अपने घरों में, महिलाओं का बहुत बड़ा योगदान होता है. और मैं बीसीसीआई से भी गुजारिश करूँगा, बॉम्बे चैम्बर से, कि महिलाओं का रिप्रेजेंटेशन हमारे ऑडियंस में भी और बाकी जगह भी थोड़ा हो तो बहुत अच्छा रहेगा. तो फार्मर प्रोड्यूसर ऑर्गेनाइजेशन जो हैं वो हमारे देश में पिछले 10 सालों में उन्होंने काफ़ी अपनी बड़ी यात्रा की है. शुरू में जब वो थे तो उन्होंने सरकार के साथ मिलकर एमएसपी के लिए ग्रेन प्रोक्योरमेंट शुरू हुआ 2010-11 से जो हमने शुरू किया था वो प्रोग्राम, वो काफ़ी हद तक आज इस स्थिति पे आ चुका है कि उनकी काफ़ी बड़ी कंपनियां भी है. सह्याद्री फार्म से हमने देखा पैनल में ऐसे बहुत सारी कंपनियां थी. तो आज जो है हम उस स्थिति पे हैं जहां हमें ज़्यादा पैसे चाहिए. जितने पैनल मेंबर्स थे सब ने अलग अलग पैनल में कहा है कि एक ही तरीका है जिससे हमें प्रीमियम मिल सकता है, और वो तरीका है क्वालिटी कंट्रोल का. अगर क्वालिटी नहीं है तो कुछ भी नहीं है. और ये सेशन सिर्फ फ्रेश प्रोड्यूस पे फोकस्ड होगा. तो मैं गुजारिश करूँगा डॉक्टर चांग से कि वो बताएं कि क्वालिटी कंट्रोल जो है क्यों ज़रूरी है. और ऐसा नहीं है क्वालिटी कंट्रोल महंगा है, इनकी महारत है इसमें कि कैसे क्वालिटी को कंट्रोल किया जाए, और प्रोसेस स्टैंडर्डाइजेशन करके उसको अधेर भी करवाते हैं, और वो भी कम पैसे में. ओवर टू यू.
Hello, good afternoon everybody. So quality control in India is emerging currently, and we do see that the knowledge based on what's the importance of quality is improving in India. But what's more necessary for everybody to understand over here, that their quality is not free of cost, right? It comes at a cost. The cost is no longer premium, because I think large thanks to FSSAI to actually come down on more stringent laws on quality, which means that every produce that we have here, if it is subjected to quality control, the cost of quality will also come lower and lower. And I think also more FPOs should be aware that the more you actually test for your food products, the better the quality of your food products, and the more you test for it, the cheaper the cost of quality gets. Testing, if you have 1 or 2 samples, of course it's going to go expensive. But when you have large number of samples, you have everybody in India is trying to get, testing of their food and food products and fresh foods tested. I think the cost of quality can be as low as, I think for microbial testing, we're as cheap as 300, 500 rupees per parameter per sample. Of course, if you go for pesticide residues and everything, it is in and around the range of 4 to 10,000 rupees a sample. But look at it, it's that it's a representative of the entire batch that you have as an FPO and not just one sample. So the cost of quality is not at a premium, it is there, it's not zero, but what it does is that it improves the value of your produce by several measures. So I think, just to sum it up, that yes, you may have to spend on testing so that you have a certification from a testing lab saying that the produce that you have is of one of the best qualities, it is safe to consume, and the consumer now is more aware of what they're actually purchasing and consuming. But this will add tremendous value to your produce, definitely.
बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद. इन्होंने बड़े सधे शब्दों में कहा कि क्वालिटी महंगी नहीं है. इनफैक्ट ये क्वालिटी है जो आपके प्रोड्यूस को, जो भी फ्रेश प्रोड्यूस आप पैदा करते हैं उसको प्रीमियम दिलाएगी. और जिस तरीके से FSSAI, फूड सेफ्टी एंड सिक्योरिटी अथॉरिटी ऑफ इंडिया, FSSAI जो है, उन्होंने काफ़ी काम किया है. डॉक्टर चांग ने उसके बारे में बोला है. और अनुपमा मैडम से अच्छा और कोई वक्ता इसके लिए नहीं हो सकता है. वो महाराष्ट्र की फूड एंड ड्रग एडमिनिस्ट्रेटर हैं. और मैं उनसे कहूँगा कि FSSAI के बारे में थोड़ी जानकारी हम सब वक्ताओं को दें.
Good afternoon, everyone. Hope you are enjoying the sessions. Thank you, sir. So basically, when it comes to FSSAI and fresh produce, then FSSAI does not have specific standards when it comes to the fresh produce. If you talk about milk, milk has standards for cow milk, then pasteurized milk, then buffalo milk. But when it comes to fresh produce, there is as such no standards. But FSSAI is looking after the safety of the fresh produce. How it is doing so? FSSAI has come up with the regulation which is about contaminants, toxins and residues regulation. So contaminants are basically chemical contaminants or microbial contaminants which get added during the process of harvesting. They can be bacteria, viruses or heavy metals like lead, mercury. That kind of contaminants are not permissible in fresh produce. So that regulation is there. Another is toxins. So when it comes to the toxins, it is generally about fungal toxins which are present in the farm produce, fresh produce. So fungal toxins are not allowed. Aflatoxins, for example, is not allowed. Then there is a limit on residues. There is this minimal residual limit for all the pesticides, and for which there is no residual limits, those pesticides are not allowed to be there. Like there is proper prohibition on use of those pesticides. So these are the three main contexts which FSSAI covers when it comes to the fresh produce. And if you want to get premier quality, as sir suggested that we want to get premium quality, then of course comes the organic fresh produce. For organic, we have organic foods regulation. We can of course discuss about this further in next question. Thank you.
थैंक यू अनुपमा. तो इन्होंने हमें बताया कि भाई जो भी एफ्लाटॉक्सिन्स हैं, हम अपने खेतों में जो फ्रेश प्रोड्यूस पैदा कर रहे हैं, जब हम कंज्यूमर को देते हैं तो FSSAI की रेगुलेशन कंजम्पशन साइड पे काफ़ी ज़्यादा है. तो अगर हम उनके मानकों पे खरा नहीं उतरेंगे, उनके मापदंडों को नहीं मानेंगे, तो हमारे प्रोडक्शन की वैल्यू ना तो कंज्यूमर देगा और कानूनी रूप से भी अच्छा नहीं होगा. आप इसको इस तरह से समझें कि दुनिया भर के जो फ्रेश प्रोड्यूस के निर्माता हैं, आपने अभी देखा है कि इटालियन कंपनी ने प्रेजेंटेशन दिया, साल में ये 140 मशीन बनाते हैं. चाइना में कई सालों से हैं, भारत में अब आ रहे हैं, लेकिन वो आ रहे हैं क्योंकि दुनिया को भारत के कंज्यूमर्स की चिंता है? क्या हमारे किसान भाइयों की इसकी चिंता है कि जब दुनिया वाले हमारे यहाँ प्रोड्यूस भेजते हैं तो वो सबसे बेहतरीन प्रोड्यूस यहाँ भेजते हैं, पूरी क्वालिटी कंट्रोल करते हैं, लेकिन जब हम खुद अपने देश के लोगों को ये प्रोड्यूस देते हैं तो क्या हम इन क्वालिटी मापदंडों को देखते हैं? ये महंगी नहीं है, लेकिन क्या ये बिल्कुल ज़रूरी है? स्मिता जी से सुनते हैं।
Thank you, sir. I think already testing and FSSAI regulations, so we've already covered what can you do at the end, like when you test, when you produce it, the regulations that are there from FSSAI. But what I'm going to talk about is one step behind. So to be able to have produce that meets quality norms, first of all, quality norms for fresh produce is a fuzzy term. But you still know what a fresh produced good quality apple looks like, or maybe tomato looks like. So all of us know that, you know, it has to be firm, juicy, it has to have a certain color. So these are things that we know inherently. We know they are the characteristic of a food, and that is what we expect when we buy a kilo of good tomatoes, say. You want it to have a certain ripeness, a certain firmness, a certain color. So these are quality parameters, and I think if we step back from regulation and testing and procedures, there's something like having a system in place to produce always the best quality. And there are norms like this world over. There is Global Gap. You have all these certifications which ensure that the fresh produce meets requirement. ह्याचं आपण बोललो की ग्लोबली आपल्याला ग्लोबल गॅपसाठी we want to follow their norms. But when you're selling it to domestic, also you need to have those norms. I mean, like Sir said, if you're getting avocado, Haas avocados from Mexico, which you pay 200 rupees for an avocado, we grow avocado. Why can't we have all the norms at the back end to follow that? So meeting regulations, meeting testing norms is always possible if you have a system to support it. You can't do it once in a while. So that is where certification comes in. And as somebody representing a scheme that we write standards that certification bodies follow, I think it's critical that we have simple, effective systems put in place so that you meet the expectations of not just the global customer, but also domestically.
तो इन्होंने बताया कि भाई एवोकाडो है, तो मुझे याद है हम लोग कीवी पैदा नहीं करते थे, और एक साल पहले मैं शिमला से जब वापस आ रहा था, वहाँ पे कीवी किलो के भाव बिक रहे थे 60 रुपये किलो. क्यों? बहुत छोटे थे, साइज़ ठीक नहीं था, राइपनेस नहीं था. तो हमने उगा तो लिया उत्तराखंड में सरकारी स्कीम के साथ, लेकिन हमने क्वालिटी की परवाह नहीं की. डॉक्टर चांग एनवायरोकेयर लैब से आती हैं और उनकी बहुत सारी फैसिलिटीज़ हैं. डॉक्टर चांग कम्स फ्रॉम एनवायरोकेयर लैब्स and she represents a firm that has a global footprint and she offers many services. So I would request her, मैं उनसे गुजारिश करता हूँ कि वो बताएं कि क्या ऐसा एनवायरोकेयर लैब्स कर सकता है जिससे FPO का जो फ्रेश प्रोड्यूस है वो हमारे बाज़ार में प्रीमियम पा सके. What एनवायरोकेयर लैब्स can do for FPOs so that their fresh produce commands a premium in the market, thus increasing farmers' income.
Thank you, sir. So just to introduce everybody to Envirocare Labs, we've been 43 years in this testing business and 25 plus years in the business of testing food. So we were one of the first FSSI recognized laboratories in the country. And we largely started testing foods that were being imported into India. So we do still test foods that are imported into the country. We are also testing foods that are exported out of the country, either to APIDA, through EIC, EIA. But we do have a large spread over the domestic market. Unfortunately, what we've seen is that it's usually processed food that actually comes for testing, packaged food that comes for testing, only because of the regulations laid down by FSSAI. We do not see fresh foods actually coming for testing because somehow there is no regulation, and the consumer in the country that is locally purchasing domestically is not aware what a premium quality can be or what certification is required. But I feel that the country is moving towards recognizing what safe food is. We are one of the countries where, we don't have a lot of people suffering from foodborne illnesses compared to most modern countries. That tells you that we do have a good immune system, but we also consume a lot of good and safe food. But I think what Envirocare Labs brings here is that we're one lab that is fully equipped for a complete food testing, right from microbial testing. You can have microbial testing that conventionally takes 5 days. We also have rapid microbial testing where you can test for Salmonella, E. coli 0157, and other pathogens within 24 hours. We do all your pesticide residues, all the banned pesticides. You can even, we can consult you on what pesticide residues are banned, what is the half-life of the pesticide residues. We test over 700 plus pesticide residues at our laboratory. We test all the aflatoxins. We test for all the heavy metals. But this comes in terms of having safe food, testing for safe food. Apart from this, we also test for your nutritional value. So you can have what's the nutritional labeling for your foods that will actually take your fresh foods from being just fresh foods to actually premium level foods if you have a nutritional level. So it could just be a tomato or it could just be an avocado, but if you have a nutritional information about the foods that you're having, like even for farm fresh eggs, you have nutritional values for what is the value of the eggs that you're selling. So these are all the testing that we do provide. But I would say over and above just testing, Envirocare Labs would like to offer a wholesome service for anybody that approaches us. We would definitely like to be your consulting partners in how you can improve the quality of foods, how you can get into organic farming, what is required, because we also do soil testing, so it's not that we're just testing your finished products. We can help you during the whole process from farm to the market. So that's what we can offer. Thank you.
She detailed what Envirocare Labs offer. There are many entities in this country which offer similar services, and what is important is that we start availing these services. We now have ecosystem. हमारे पास अब एक ऐसा ग्लोबल इकोसिस्टम आ चुका है, डॉक्टर चांग की कंपनी और बहुत सारी कंपनियां जो ये चीज़ें करती है. मैं वापस आऊँगा फ्रेश प्रोड्यूस को कैसे प्रीमियम मिलेगा. तो थोड़ी सी चर्चा हुई थी ऑर्गेनिक सर्टिफिकेशन. ऑर्गेनिक फूड क्या है? तो इन शॉर्ट वी से इफ़ इट इज़ नॉट सर्टिफाइड इट इज़ नॉट ऑर्गेनिक. अगर ये सर्टिफाइड नहीं है तो ये ऑर्गेनिक नहीं है. और मैं अनुपमा जी से गुजारिश करूँगा वो बताएं कि कैसे FPOs जो हैं हमारे गांव में ये ऑर्गेनिक फूड के लिए अपने यहाँ फ्रेश प्रोड्यूस पैदा कर सकते हैं.
So as we all know, FSSCI is the autonomous body which looks after or standards of organic foods. So basically, while getting your food organic certification, you can produce, you can harvest, but before you start sowing your seeds, there is a requirement of your field being free of chemical pesticides, chemical fertilizers, and you should follow all the good agricultural practices. Then once you have produced your crop, then you have to get it tested, and if it falls under the purview, if it complies with the standards of organic produce, then you will get the certification from National Program of Organic Products, that is NPOP certification. And when you sell or when you do the marketing that you are selling something as organic, it is mandatory to have NPOP certification. So NPOP certification is basically given by Commerce and Industry Ministry, and it is managed by APEDA. So that way, by following good agricultural practices, you can get your product certified as organic food product. And as you all know, that the price range for organic food product is actually a premium, because as you are not using any fertilizers, chemical fertilizers, and you are not using chemical pesticides, it raises the cost of the production for the farmer. So that is one of the reasons, and then comes the certification. So certification is a stringent process to get the product certified as organic. You have to follow all the norms, and then and only then you can get the organic certification, and then and only then you can claim it as a organic food. So that is all I would like to tell you about organic foods. Thank you.
थैंक यू अनुपमा। ये बड़े खुशी की बात है कि हमारे यहाँ पे आज ऐसे कॉरपोरेट हैं और हमारी ऐसी संस्थाएं हैं जैसे एपिडा है, जिसने काफ़ी प्रेज़वर्दी काम किया है। जो उन्होंने ग्रेप्स के लिए किया है वो पिछले 20-25 सालों में आज अपना देश जो है ग्रेप के अग्रणी एक्सपोर्टर्स में माना जाता है। बहुत सारी संस्थाएं हैं उसमें, तो उसमें बहुत सारी कमर्शियल संस्थाएं हैं जो इस चीज़ को समझती है कि क्वालिटी जो है हमारे लिए ज़रूरी है, सर्टिफिकेशन हमारे लिए ज़रूरी है, क्योंकि उसके बिना आप दुनिया में जा नहीं सकते। जो पिछले पैनल में कुछ मेंबरों ने कहा कि अगर हम बाहर जाते हैं तो कोई भी क्वालिटी की संस्थाएं हमारे यहाँ आना ही नहीं चाहती। वो कहती है नहीं भाई भारत है तो हम वहाँ नहीं आएंगे, नो इंडिया वी डोंट वांट टू कम। तो ये तो हुई कॉरपोरेट लेवल की बातें। तो इसका जो सुधार शुरू होगा अपने यहाँ एफपीसी से ही शुरू होगा, फार्मर प्रोड्यूसर कंपनी है, कोऑपरेटिव है, उनसे शुरू होगा। तो क्या बेस्ट प्रैक्टिसेस हो सकती है उनके लिए जिससे वो बेहतर फ्रेश प्रोड्यूस पैदा कर सके, इसके लिए मैं स्मिता जी से गुजारिश करूँगा वो बताएं।
So thank you for that question, and you know, we talked about premiumization, you were asking about that. I think this is one of the ways to premiumize your product, and that comes back to, if we are talking about FPCs, they are bigger organization, we are not talking about an individual farmer. So it starts at the back end. How well do you manage your supply chain? So now that we have FPCs, you know, Sayadri Farms kind of organization, they have a fantastic traceability which is available for everything that comes on your table. You can trace back to where it was produced. So that's one of the examples that you would need if you want to really premiumize your product. Have a good control on your supply chain, have good traceability systems in place. Basic food safety and hygiene, how are you processing it, how are you cleaning it, how are you packing it, and looking at innovation. There's a lot of innovation happening now. You have active packaging, you have, you know, individual freezing that is there that you can do for fresh produce. All this extends the shelf life, and these are all things that will also help us get a premium rate, get those people back into farming who are moving away from it, because there is money to be made in it. And there are these systems that you can put in place as a larger FPC or an FPO. Thank you, sir.
Let's talk about value addition here, because no premiumization is complete without value addition. And again, I will come back to quality control. Now, we also talk about a lot of intermediation. हम बार बार इसकी भी बात करते हैं कि हमारे बीच में जो हमारी वैल्यू चेन है बहुत लंबी है। क्यों है? क्योंकि किसान अपने यहाँ से जो पैदा करता है सामान, वो पैदा करने के बाद तुरंत बेचना चाहता है, उसको पैसे चाहिए होते हैं। हमारे यहाँ बैंकर्स है, वो आपको आज पैसे दे सकते हैं, लेकिन हमारी जो आदत है कि नहीं, हम अपने खेत पे अपनी क्वालिटी को नहीं चेक करेंगे, न्यूट्रिशनल वैल्यू हम चेक नहीं करेंगे, कोई और करेगा। तो अगर आप नहीं करोगे और कोई और करेगा तो प्रीमियम भी वही लेके जाएगा। यही कारण है, और ये एक बड़ा कारण है कि किसान जो हैं क्यों ज़्यादा पैसे नहीं पा सकते। तो मैं इस बार थोड़ा फोकस करूँगा और डॉक्टर चांग से कहूँगा कि मेरा आखिरी सवाल होगा उनसे कि एफपीसी कैसे और क्यों न्यूट्रिशनल सर्टिफिकेशन करें। बड़ी बात लगती है, वो तो अभी क्वालिटी सर्टिफिकेशन भी नहीं कराते, लेकिन न्यूट्रिशनल सर्टिफिकेशन क्यों करें? ऑर्गेनिक प्रोड्यूस को ज़्यादा वैल्यू इसलिए मिलती है क्योंकि न्यूट्रिशनली अच्छे हैं। डॉक्टर चांग।
I think you've touched upon the unfortunate situation in our country where the farmer does not reap the maximum benefits of his labor. And yes, that is majorly because I feel the farmer needs to be educated as to, you know, investing a little more in actually proving the quality of his farm produce. Because until and unless he doesn't, you know, have a certification, he does not have value to his farm produce. And major chunk of that profit is taken away by the middle dealers who would actually do these kind of testings with, testing labs like us. And they kind of reap all the benefits that the farmer has. So if the farmer's taking the trouble, you're taking the trouble to grow good quality fruits, vegetables, I think we should invest a little more in getting it tested, getting a certification for it, and at least then you can sell your farm produce at a premium as compared to, a middle person who's actually doing this.
Just to add to what you're saying, I think that's absolutely true. And now technology has gone to such an extent that actually you can figure out with, there are companies called like the Clear Fruits, which are looking at using AI to look at a bunch of grapes to tell you what the weight is, what the size is, what the color is. So, all this technology is coming our way. And I think as FPCs, that is also one of the things where you can start investing at simple technologies, near infrared spectroscopy, which can do very basic things at the farm level. I think these things can be something that we can look at.
This gives me an opportunity to ask a very difficult question to Anupama ji. Entities like EPIDA, which work with FSSI, or commodity exchanges, which are mandated to follow FSSI norms, they are far and few. ऐसी संस्थाएं बहुत कम हैं और एपिडा एक कमोडिटी वैल्यू चेन अप्रोच लेके चलती है. मैं एक कमोडिटी की चर्चा करूंगा जो महाराष्ट्र में बहुत ज़्यादा होती है, और जब हम मसालों की बात करते हैं शायद आप उसको काउंट नहीं करेंगे. स्पाइसेस में उसको प्रीमियम प्रोड्यूस के रूप में नहीं माना जाता है. जब मैंने फ्रिटोले में काम किया था तो हम लहर नमकीन बना रहे थे, तो उसमें जो सबसे बड़ा इंग्रेडिएंट है, चाहे वो नेस्ले हो चाहे कोई भी मसाले वाले हों, वो होता है अनियन पाउडर, प्याज. एपिडा ने शायद अभी तक ध्यान नहीं दिया उतना, हमारे पास स्कीमें हैं. तो प्याज तो एक उदाहरण है, लेकिन ऐसा क्या करे एफएसएसआई या सरकार जो ये जन जन तक पहुँचे, जन जन तक नहीं, कम से कम एफपीसी तक तो पहुँचे, उन क्लस्टर्स तक तो पहुँचे. मुझे मालूम है बहुत सारे लिमिटेशन में काम करते हैं, तो महाराष्ट्र सरकार या केंद्र सरकार ऐसा क्या करेगी जिससे एफपीसीज को इन चीज़ों को कराने में दिक्कत नहीं, उनके द्वारे कैसे जाएगी? क्या ऐसा किया जाए और क्या ऐसा किया जा रहा है?
एक्चुअली एग्जैक्टली क्या कराने में, दैट आई डिडंट गेट.
What should government do so that all these key things which are necessary for premiumization reaches the doorsteps of farmers? So your reach out programs for farmers and FPCs.
So FSSI and FDA goes hand in hand with ease of doing business. So I think we should start looking at farming as a business first of all, and we should think about ease of doing farming, so that when it is easy to be done and when people are made aware of the facts and what are the requirements, basically I believe as a FSSAI regulator, as a FSSAI regulator, as a designated officer, assistant commissioner working with FDA, I believe that more and more interaction with FPOs will help us to understand what are the problems faced by FPOs and how we can solve them. Because generally when we talk about FBOs, that is food business operators, we are not including the primary producers in that definition of FSSA Act. FSSA Act when defines food business operator, and FSSA Act has regulation over food business operators, but it does not include farming as one of the businesses. So that can be a good initiation if we start thinking for farming as one of the business, and if we include them in FBOs, then maybe we can be able to help them out. And generally we do the surveys at market yards. We generally draw samples from all the local shops, but we never ever do sampling from any farms, any FPOs. The reason being only one thing, that it is not covered under FSSA. So I think that will be the initiative if we start encouraging more fresh produce organizations or farm produce organizations to come forward and make farmers aware. And FSSAI and FDA can always come hand in hand with them and make FPOs aware of all the regulations and what all needs to be done to get a good finished product and how to get a great raw material. In that case, we can always extend our help. We can sensitize FPOs. I believe I might be the first person from FSSAI to come on some FPO related platform and discuss about FPOs, because FSSAI generally doesn't have any say or any standards when it comes to the fresh products. So I think making people aware can be one of the best initiatives, one of the first steps towards it. And thank you for the opportunity to connect with FBOs today. It is a learning experience. My panel members are very accommodative people, so they are accommodating me. But it has been a learning process. Thank you.
No, it's our pleasure and honor to have you here, ma'am. And I must appreciate that you have taken this initiative. So Dr. Chang wants to say something. They are the connectors.
So ma'am, I just wanted to bring this, that what role the government as such FSSI can play over here. So I'll just draw from my experience that I've lived the last 6 years in Canada, and Canada is a country that imports more than 90% of fresh produce. They don't grow anything much. I think what grows locally is just rice, potatoes and corn. And let me tell you, unlike any other country, the premium price you pay in Canada is for locally grown produce. Everything else is imported into Canada and they are way cheaper than locally grown fruits, only because the quality of locally grown fruit is put out to the masses. The Canadian government participates in ensuring that we buy locally produced fruits. So I think the same thing the government in India can do is that you start emphasizing on locally grown. Like for avocados, if you're growing avocados in India, why are we importing it? And why is imported avocados more expensive than locally grown avocados? That is where I feel FSSI can play a role and regularize this. That would actually help the farmers actually sell their products at a premium.
I would like to add one more thing. Even though there are no standards, when we draw samples of some fruits, suppose I am drawing the sample of apple, then FSSA has certain rules that only natural waxes can be used as a preservative to increase the shelf life. Some waxes are used, so only natural waxes are allowed to be used. So these small things are added after the, putting a lot of thought and adding new advisories. So that can be done. Same way I can tell you that if we find any hotelier restaurant owner using a sprouted potato, we draw the sample. And sprouted potato can be toxic and injurious to the health of the human being. So we declare it as unsafe. So these are small things. Other things are when it comes to the cereals and grains, if we find insects, if there is coloring. In case of mango, generally coloring is there. To nowadays, papaya, watermelon also coloring is there. So when we draw the samples, we think about and we do testings related to all these things. So steadily we are actually covering and trying to cover all the farm fresh produces also. And I assure you, we are on that path. We will get as much as other people are getting for the produces of avocados and mangoes and grapes. So we will reach there.
Thank you so much to all the panel members. It has been an enlightening discussion. And on the note that India would very soon, maybe like Canada, where locally grown produce fetches a premium. So to say, Indian grown apples will fetch more prices than possibly Washington apples. Indian grown avocados may fetch more price than what we are getting from abroad. So on this note, I would like to conclude the session and thank my panel members, BCCI and entire audience to be patient and being here. आप सबका बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद हमें धैर्यपूर्वक सुनने के लिए और इसके साथ मैं सेशन को कंक्लूड करना चाहूँगा। मैं आप सबसे माफ़ी भी मांगता हूँ कि मैं आपके सवाल जवाब नहीं ले पाए। हम सब यहाँ अवेलेबल हैं और आप हमसे बात कर सकते हैं इसके बाद। थैंक यू सो मच।
Thank you, Sinha sir. Thanks a lot. On this wonderful note, wonderful discussion after this, even as a host, I'll say that on behalf of Bombay Chamber of Commerce and even Kisan Forum Private Limited, I really extend my heartfelt gratitude to all the speakers, all the participants who were here for all the sessions, all the moderators, even partners, business partners, sponsors for making this AgriCorp 2024 a resounding success. And this event surely has served as a platform for different meaningful discussions, knowledge, sharing, collaboration, paving the way for a sustainable and prosperous future in agriculture. So let us take forward this insight, connections gained here to drive this innovation and growth in this vital sector. So I thank you all and we are really looking forward to seeing you at our next edition of AgriCorp, which will be AgriCorp 2025. And at this moment, we would like to felicitate you. I would like to request our DG sir, Khosla sir, please come up on the stage and we are going to felicitate. हम आपका सत्कार करना चाहते हैं. Smita Murty ma'am, Anupama Patil ma'am, and Dr. Chang ma'am. Yes, and of course, Rajesh Sinha sir. Bombay Chamber of Commerce and Industries की तरफ से आप सभी का शुक्रिया. Thanks a lot for this thought-provoking session. Please give them a big hand. Please give them a big hand. Yes. One group photo. Group photo, please. Yes, Vishal sir. For vote of thanks. Sir.
Thank you. First of all, thank you to Amit for a 2-day wonderful comparing this entire show where he mixed both English, Hindi and Marathi in certain cases. So thank you. Thanks a lot. Also, special thanks to Goel Saab for guiding us and Rajan Raje for leading us for AgriCorp. This is the 15th year which we've been doing this, and we couldn't have done without the help of our entire committee. Chetan is here, Azhar is here, Dr. Sinha is here. Couple of our committee members are not here. Mrugank Paranjpe, Chinmay is not there. But one man who's been here continuous for 2 days is Chetan. So Chetan, thanks a lot for helping us. A special thanks to Atul and Niranjan for hosting us here and helping us conduct this. This is our first time which we have done in Pune along with Kisan. Last 2 years, for all of you who had come, we had done this in Mumbai at the Sitco grounds in Navi Mumbai. I would like to thank all our partners, Gold partner State Bank of India, Silver partner Axis Bank, Rallies India Limited and MTS SRL. So special thanks to Matteo who's flown specially from Italy and told us about the tomato farming, although he's not listening. Matteo, thank you. So thank you for coming all the way from Italy to tell us about tomato harvesting. So again, our bronze partners, Nikam Solutions, IDBI Bank, Union Bank of India, and supporting partners, Kito Pharma, Agri Bazaar and NABARD. So thank you everyone, and I'm really sorry for keeping all of you waiting on a Thursday evening. I know some of you must be fasting, so that's all right, but really sorry that the sessions got delayed. Actually, we couldn't start on time in the morning due to a lot of people going to exhibitions and not coming here on time. So thank you all once again, and thanks to my team at BCCI for ensuring that everything went off properly. Tarini, who's worked very, very hard on this thing, and Carl, Sunil, Prashant, Digambar, everyone. Thank you all. Please join us for lunch.